In late June 2023, I started making a board game based off of my favorite game, Foxhole. For the first week, I made it and iterated on it in physical form, but when the Steam Summer Sale came around, and I discovered I could make my game a tabletop simulator, I went right to work on it. I announced I was making it in my Foxhole Clans Discord and my own personal one where I share my games, link in the pinned comment, to spread the word I was making the game. I worked a couple hours a day making it, and got the first version out pretty quick. I tested it with some others, and they enjoyed it. It surprised me how much and how many people liked the game. My first game, Terra Remor, only got 2 players who played the game once, and never played it again from what I know. But this game was different. There were 5 people who were playing it at least every other day, and loving it, giving feedback and giving praise for the game. People even played it without me prompting them to. They just did it on their own. That all surprised me so much, and made me so happy. I consider it to be a milestone in my journey to become a game designer. But with people actually enjoying my game so much and wanting more content and to balance it all, the pressure was on. The adding new content part was super easy. I just added the models to my maps and made their stats on my documents. But balancing them was a very, very different game. Balance hasn't really come up in my game design career before. Certainly not to the level of balancing 50 plus units. I had to learn a very useful skill to balance this game, which I called spreadsheet balancing. I used a spreadsheet to calculate a bunch of different stats, like how many expected hits per turn you could expect from a unit, and change stats and cost around these findings. Definitely a very useful tool to learn for my game design career. Another thing I learned was how important it was to stay in touch with your players. From the very start, I took feedback anytime I could about stuff, and it paid very well. I got suggestions I never would have thought of, and got balanced suggestions all the time. This helped tremendously in giving me direction with the game and balancing it. It paid with my community as well, as they were noticeably happier when I was taking their feedback and taking action on it. The game this board game is inspired by, Foxhole, has devs who don't really ever talk with their community, which is what inspired me to talk with mine. It paid off, of course, but I must admit I only had 5 people to talk to about the game, so it was a lot easier to do. I'm very happy I stayed in touch with my players, as some of the ideas I was thinking would have been bad or gone bad with my players. I would have made a lot more mistakes in making this game, and that goes to show how important testing and feedback on games are. My lessons from this game that I'd like to share with inexperienced game designers like me is balancing and staying in touch with your community. First, let's talk about balance. It's a hard thing, that's for sure, but it's very important. My board game is asymmetrical between the sides. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. It's a hard process to balance, but I really recommend learning to balance stuff using a spreadsheet. It helped me notice so many new things and balance stuff so much faster and better than I ever could have by just playing the game for hours on end. The second thing I would like to share the importance of is staying in touch with your community. You can learn so much more just by talking with your players. Even if it's some single player platformer, feedback and testing with people can open your eyes to so much that you would never see by yourself. Always remember to test your games with others and get feedback whenever possible. I hope you enjoyed this sort of video. I'm thinking of making more like it. But anyways, thanks for watching.